Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. See, it all started 6 months ago. I was tired of my job and all I really wanted to be doing was running. That's my real passion, but I'd suffered a major injury and was still recovering from the surgery. The future was uncertain. I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to run properly again. So I did the logical thing. I decided to quit my job and try and run to Japan. While I was injured, I had to get my endorphin fix somehow. So every day for 9 months, I subjected myself to 3 hours of punishment on this torture device. After completing the entire Netflix library, I had to resort to audiobooks to kill the time. That's when I came across The Way of the Runner and discovered the wacky world of Japanese running. 10-hour relay races watched by over 50 million people on TV. 2,000 full-time professional runners competing for corporate teams. Marathon monks who have to run 1,000 marathons in 1,000 days, or else take their own lives. I had no idea about Japan's obsessive running culture, but after falling down the rabbit hole, there was no turning back. So at the time of filming that intro, I was a 2:38 marathoner with a delusional dream. It's now 1 year on, I'm just as psychotic, but I've run a 2:17 marathon and I'm ranked 12th in the UK. Now you're probably wondering, how the bloody hell have you done that? So in this video, I'm going to talk about what I've been up to this past year, living and training in Japan. And if you stay to the end, I'll talk about what the next steps are on this quest to become the world's least talented runner to ever turn pro. Let's get it. Now this morning I've decided to escape the Tokyo city centre. It's absolute chaos there. Get out to the river for a nice little medium long run. This is like middle of the week, 30k. Probably start off nice and easy, maybe progress, see how the legs feel. And I'm also trying out some new shoes, some new crepes. So I'm usually a die-hard Nike man. I've always worn them, but I've heard big things about these bad boys, the Asics Superblast 2. So they've been hyped up to be one of the best daily trainers just for like easy running, do a bit of steady running. So I thought, yeah, we'll test them out. Oh, look at that, unreal. Little river course. And the great thing about this is no stop signs, no traffic lights. Like in the middle of Tokyo, it's a bit of a nightmare for running. There's a few parks and stuff, but you end up doing endless loops. Whereas if you want like a long, uninterrupted run, got to come out here to one of the rivers, the perfect spot. Right, so as I get set up for this run, let's talk about why I actually decided to move to Japan. So everyone knows about Ethiopia, Kenya, like the powerhouses of distance running, but actually an underrated country, and only just behind them in terms of like marathon, half marathon, is Japan. Crazy depth out here. Like let's take the marathon for example. So a 2:10 marathon, that's like an elite level time. If you put all of the Europeans and Americans together, there'll be more Japanese every year that run sub 2:10. In terms of like longer distance, they're elite. It's a different story on the track. They basically focus everything on the longer distance here. And for me, I've got absolutely no speed, no wheels at all. So I thought, yeah, I want to move to a place where the best marathonists train. So my aim is to take the running as far as I can, see what level I can get to. If you want to become a better marathon runner, this is the place to be. And we're off, let's get it. Got about 2 hours out here. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm absolutely dripping in sweat already. Absolutely ridiculously hot in Japan, humid. The summer is a little bit unbearable, but hopefully soon it's gonna be cooling down. Usually around October time, and then, yeah, the running is optimum. So I talked about why I decided to move out here, but I had to actually find out a way. Right, how can I do that? Just quit my job, pack up my things and move. And I managed to, after a little bit of research, find this program called the Daiwa Scholarships. So they offer fully funded scholarships, 1.5 years in Japan, 1 year studying Japanese, then a 1-month homestay, and a 6-month work placement. And I applied and somehow got on. I don't know how, but charmed my way in. And that's what I've just been doing. So I've done a year at Japanese language school. My Japanese is still painfully bad, but I can have basic conversations. Then I've just finished a 1-month homestay in the Japanese mountains. Crazy experience, like living with a bunch of pro runners, and I'll do a whole separate video all about that. And I'm soon going to be starting my work placement, which is actually with a running company, Tempo Japan. So it somehow all worked out perfectly with the running theme. Right, so about 10k into the run, absolutely sweltering out here. Probably lost a pint of sweat already, so I'll probably take a little gel soon. I've been trying, it's not like I need the energy on these sort of easy, longer runs, but I'm trying to get used to fueling. Firstly, just to practice, getting in as many gels as I can, so when it comes to a marathon, I can slam them down every 5k, no problem. But also for recovery, I think if I can get fuel in on the run, it just means, arm's getting tired, I'm weak. But yeah, if I can get the fuel in on the run, it means that I can recover quicker, hopefully. Just like more calories in the body, the muscles can rejuvenate, and we can go again, keep hitting the big mileage. And my impressions of the ASICS Super Blast 2 so far, very solid, no complaints. Feel like with very little effort you can get moving. And my usual daily trainer is a Nike Vomero. That's kind of what I'm comparing against. And gotta say, maybe it's just it's new, it's fresh, it's exciting, but I think I'm swaying towards the ASICS Super Blast right now. Just feels, more cushioned, a bit more springy, more energy, and my arms fucking exhausted. I need to hit the gym more. Just holding this little mini camera, I'm getting tired. So we're now at halfway, moving on nicely, ticking over, getting it done. Classic midweek long run, just time on feet, build that huge aerobic engine. Alright, 1k to go, nearly there. Luckily there's some sun cover, so even though it's humid, but without that direct sunlight, it's a lot more bearable. But definitely not an easy effort. Got rolling a little bit at the end. I'm blaming it on the shoes. Too good, too fast. There we have it. 30k, 2 hours, 5 minutes. Longest runs in summer just aren't fun. What usually would have been a comfy pace just felt bloody hard. So yeah, good to get it done. Now, I can get some food in. I need brekkie. I don't know why I even bothered changing shirt. I've sweated straight through this one. Like before I lived near Florida, so Georgia, America, like you think, that's hot, that's humid. Nah, Tokyo is next level, I'm telling you. Horrendous. Don't come in summer, that's my best advice. So I arrived in Japan basically a year ago now, last September. And since then I've been doing a language course. So it was like a 1-year program at uni, full-time Japanese. About 30 hours a week plus 20 hours of running, good 10 hours of S&C recovery, just piecing my body back together. I was pretty much knackered the entire time, but it was good fun. Right, I've just demolished a few little pieces from the bakery. It's always a little treat when I come out here to the river. And now heading back to Tokyo, going to chat a little bit more about training in Japan. Escaping the chaos. Shinjuku Station, busiest station in the world. I think it's something like 3 million people a day pass through. And that's actually my local station, so it's about 10 minutes from my house. But there's a park, the Saving Grace Yoyogi Park. It's got a trail around the outside, 3k. Pretty much the only off-road surface you can get in central Tokyo. And it's an absolute game changer. Save the legs. For an easy double, I'm always on that. Then you've got the inner circle, which is about 2k for sessions. Quality, and then an even smaller one which is 1k. You've kind of got all bases covered with that. I mean, it's not thrilling, it's not London. I definitely miss some of the running back home sometimes, the big open spaces. You're not going to get that here. It's a lot more small, tight loops, but we make it work. And luckily, Yoyogi is also the home to a group of runners called Team MK, which I actually joined. Basically at the start, as soon as I arrived, I was looking around. And the trouble is, you've got so many quick runners in Japan, all these different pro teams, uni teams, but they're very exclusive. If you're not part of the uni, you can't just join in, you can't just rock up. And actually my uni, Waseda, they had a team, very strong team, and I was trying to join that, but they have a no foreigner policy. Yeah, classic Japan. They keep it old school, and yeah, they basically didn't want any foreigners in the team. So a lot of teams have like a Kenyan or Ethiopian that they recruit come over, but Waseda is a very traditional uni, so they were having none of it. So I basically had to look around and try and find what's called a Shimin runner team, which basically means citizen runner. So runners that aren't pro, they aren't part of a uni group. I managed to find, yeah, this Team MK, absolute legend. When I came, I could pretty much speak no Japanese. They welcomed me in, unreal running group, because I've been used to just doing a lot of solo back home. So suddenly having this team of all 220, sub 220 runners, a lot of them back in the day used to be pros. Now they're just sort of casually running, casually as like a 220 runner. And it's a little tough now. I've kind of reached the front of that group. So I'm thinking about the options like, yeah, where can I go from here? I think the best thing is if you've got quicker guys in your group to drag you along, can just massively help to make that jump, which is what I did when I came here. And I just mentioned about these company teams, so I should probably explain. Japan do it completely differently. So obviously in the West, you've got pro runners that are sponsored by brands like Nike, Adidas, Hoka, and the brand pays their wages pretty much, and they're full-time runners. Here, it's next level. So for example, in the UK, there's maybe, I don't know, 10 full-time pros. Yeah, you've got to be right at the top, elite level. Here, there's probably 1,000, I think. They don't call them pros. They're kind of semi-pro, I'd say. So what they do is they're sponsored by companies, these company teams, so like Honda, Toyota, well-known brands. They're full-time employees with that company, but they only do a couple hours work a day, and they're pretty much treated like full-time athletes. So they're training twice a day before work. I mean, yeah, apparently it's very chilled. It's just kind of sit at an office for a couple hours, fill in a few paperwork, and then you head off to training again. A lot of them live in like dorms, so everything's cooked for them. They've got full-time physios, full-time coaches, all the like travel to races is sorted, training camps is paid for. So it's an unreal setup. I think there's such depth here because you've got the opportunity, instead of having to work a full-time job and try and train around that. And they're just obsessed with the long distance, the marathon, and it all kind of stems from, I think, from this race, the Hakone Ekiden. The actual student talent here is almost more impressive. You've got hundreds of students running like 63-minute half marathon, 64 half marathon. To put that in perspective, in the UK, I think this year, there's maybe 10 runners that have ran a 64 half or quicker. None of those would be students. And here you've just got, yeah, these 20-year-old students absolutely smashing out, some getting down to like 60, 61 minutes. And it's all because of this massive race. So it's actually the most popular race in the world, which is crazy because I'm sure loads of people back home wouldn't have even heard of it. Hakone Ekiden. It gets, I think, 50 to 60 million viewers. So that's half of the Japan population every year watch this race. In the US, the Super Bowl, that gets about a third of the population watching. So we're talking like basically one of the biggest sporting events in the world, but exclusive to Japan. And because of that, everyone wants to run in it. It's seen as almost bigger than the Olympics to a lot of people. And what's different about it is it's a relay race. You've got 10 people on each team, and they each run about a half marathon distance. The whole thing's televised. We've got millions of people on the streets watching. It's an unreal event. And so the half marathon distance is the big target. So you think you've got all these students training for half marathon. They don't care about the 1500, the 800, all the accolades, it's all in the half marathon. So that's where everyone goes, that's the focus. And then you imagine if you've done that at uni, it's pretty easy to then transition into the marathon, step up again. There's so many good runners at that sort of marathon, half marathon distance. We made it. Oh, big morning, 30K in the bank. So I thought I could do a bit of multitasking. I can vlog this while I'm in my recovery boots. If you don't know, the Normatex, absolute game changer. Flip this around. Oh baby, look at them. So the idea with these, I think, is that they kind of squeeze your legs up. So it's basically like getting a massage, and it pumps the blood maybe around your legs, something like that, to somehow helps them rejuvenate. As you can tell, I don't have a clue, but they work. Whether it's just placebo, whether it's psychological, either way, after wearing these boots, I feel great. My legs feel fresh and I wear them religiously every day, 45 minutes, and it's like I'm good as new. But I wanted to mention now, so about the Japanese training, I think the biggest things that stand out to me, so firstly, you've got the loops. So I said earlier, like we do these loops around Yoyogi Park, but they take it to the extreme. So like a long run, for example, back home, you'd always go out on like a trail, long path, maybe a big loop around a park, you get like a 10K loop. Nah, they're having none of that. They're going 1K loops and they're doing 40K, even 45K long runs around these 1K loops. So as well as being great physical training, it trains the mind. It's that mental game. It turns those Japanese guys into weapons, into absolute machines. And everyone just gets in a line. So when we're in the group, you're lining up one after the other, and you're just cruising around. One person takes a lap, switch it, another person takes a lap. You kind of lock in. So you might think, yeah, insanely boring, 40K around a 1K loop, but actually the time flies by. You're having fun, you're with your mates, dead silent as well. So there's no talking during this. It's locked in, it's focused, but you get the job done. Just finished up with the boots and that is the aftermath. Oh, baby, that compression. So I think we can definitely say it's working. We're getting a good squeeze. Now I'm heading off to the shops, time to stock up the cupboards, and let's talk about my running philosophy. So when it comes to a marathon, I think it's a pretty simple formula, and it might piss a lot of people off. I think Western runners don't train hard enough. The more you run, the faster you get. Mileage is king, mileage over everything. That's the motto that I've lived by for the past year, and so far, I think it's worked. I've gone from 2:38 to 2:17 marathon, and I put that all down to hard work over talent. I'm definitely not the 12th most talented marathoner in the UK, not even close. I wouldn't put myself in the top 100 most talented runners. But somehow this year, I'm ranked 12th, and it's simply because I've trained harder than everyone. I think I can confidently say that I've ran more mileage than almost any other runner in the UK, putting in some solid sessions, some decent long runs as well, because I think anyone can just sort of jog all day, but it's whether you can put it together with the sessions as well. That's that combination, the big mileage with the intensity, that's the key to success. That is the Run to Japan registered speedophile philosophy right there. Maybe some people are going to disagree. Let me know in the comments what you think. I don't think that I'm anywhere near the most talented, but good thing about the marathon, hard work beats talent. So if I just train harder than everyone, then hopefully I can close that gap. Now enough chat, I'm absolutely boiling. Time to get some food, stock up the shelves, because I am hungry. All right, good secure. That'll be about 2 days of shopping. That's marathon training. You've got to absolutely demolish the calories. So for lunch, I've whipped up a bit of a delicacy. I'm somewhat of a master chef, you could say. We have got some kimchi fried rice with egg and a little salad, side salad with some chicken, some beans, tofu, and some pickled veg. We are eating good today. Crunchy munchy, time for lunchy. So I've got next week a half marathon and then a 10K the week after. So we can test that speed. And then we're going into a marathon block, 8 weeks until Fukuoka Marathon. There we go. That's the next one, the big marathon announcement. That's what we're leading towards. That's what this YouTube channel is going to be documenting, the whole build up. And let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see, but we've got some big plans. Now I'm heading off to a cafe. I'm absolutely craving a coffee right now. So we'll head there. Then the rest of the day, physio in the afternoon, and then get out for my double, probably do 12K or so. And that is your day in the life. And I think the next video on the channel is gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be me breaking down the 1 month homestay, which is pretty much a glorified altitude training camp, where I got up to 280K a week, living with pro Japanese runners. Oh man, it was great fun. So yeah, we'll get all into that, all into the details in the next video. This has been Run to Japan, the registered speedophile. Join the army right now, subscribe, see you next time.